Hey everybody, this is Justin from the RC and Coffee YouTube channel and Facebook page. Please consider supporting us by subscribing, hitting the notification button, and joining us on Facebook. So today we are taking a look at one of my favorite chassis, which is the CMAX chassis from GCM Racing. So in another video, we talked about the Delta chassis, again produced by GCM Racing. That particular chassis is more geared towards shorter vehicles, such as the JK. As a matter of fact, here it is, and we'll get to compare. Here you go. As you can tell, this one is quite shorter. The CMAX chassis, in my humble opinion, is even better in its ability to be customized, the choice of wheelbases, and also the suspension. They do share, however, the same fantastic transmission, also produced by GCM Racing. All right, so as you can see, this one is brand new. I literally took it out the box. What you get the chassis, you get a pinion, little pin there, and what seems to be a little GCM CMAX logo here. I'm not sure if it's a sticker or something. Always nice to have. Now, GCM Racing, if you haven't seen the other video, I really want to point this out. It is a Canadian company that is located in Ontario, 45 minutes from Ottawa. It is a fantastic company. They produce super high quality stuff, and they are known, I believe, specifically thanks to this chassis there, which lends itself perfectly. It is the perfect configuration for the Range Rover hardbody sold by JS Scale. Take a look at jscale.net. I'll put that in the description below. Fantastic company that works in coordination with GCM Racing. GCM Racing produces the chassis, and JS Scale, I think it's more on the aesthetic side of things. But long story short, this chassis was actually designed specifically for the Range Rover. Great rig, and fantastic transmission. So the price, I can't find it. I cannot find the price for the life of me. I do not know if the chassis has been discontinued, but anyways, I believe I paid more or less the same price as the Delta. That's around $675 US. In terms of wheelbase, I was not range. I don't know what the range is. However, you can see all these holes there. You can literally do whatever you want. Of course, you're gonna have to change the links and the drive shaft, but the adjustability is absolutely insane on this rig. They don't even mention a range for the wheelbase. As it is, it sits at 12.32, so slightly on the longer side, but that chassis again is designed for the Range Rover, which is a pretty big body. The transmission is center mounted there, and the highest point, sorry, not the highest point, but the vast majority of it, it's a fairly long transmission, is about at the same height as the chassis railing, which is great because it'll sit flush on the railing. Now, the difference between this chassis and the Delta's rear suspensions were actually flush with the chassis railing. This is not the case here, but you do have a much more realistic setup with your shocks and your dampers being separated. Whereas in this case, it's a coilover. Now, what else? Overall, the highest point that is not the chassis on this particular configuration is about it's this point here, and that's about 1 inch, not even 1 inch higher than the railing, and everything else is below. So you know right away that it'll be super easy for you to install anything else. If you even want it, for whatever reason, you didn't want to deal with those shocks and you wanted to have something that's a shock that's directly connected to the chassis, well, you can do so. You just have to replace those shocks with the ones on the Delta chassis, and done. That's it. What else? You've got 50 millimeter shocks suspension. So again, on the small side, but very realistic. I have rated the chassis rigidity at 4.5. It's there's a little bit of flex, but it is very solid. As a matter of fact, you know what? I should probably revisit this as a 4 because it flexes slightly more than the other one simply because of the length than the Delta, but it's still really good. The aftermarket support, again, for GCM Racing, it's not really a fair comparison. It's a really niche company that design chassis for customized rigs. So nobody designs for them, they design for others. So I'll put it at 3.5, but realistically speaking, anything that you put on a Traxxas or an Axial crawler it'll most likely fit on this. The overall perceived quality, 4.5, GCM Racing, can't go wrong with that. The skill look of the architecture, 4.5. Once again, this is really designed to fit the very realistic Range Rover hard body, so you can't go wrong with that. The look of the axles is really, really good. They look exactly the same in terms of shape as the Boom Racing fat axles, I believe, from that you see on the BRX01. And also, you'll notice that the front doesn't have links. They have those bars there. I'm not sure how to call those, but it's 3mm thick metal there, or alloy, and it's very, very impressive. I'm not sure why they did that. I'm not sure if the real rig is designed like that, but it's definitely a nice touch. The skill look of the chassis, I have this as a 3.5. Unlike the Delta chassis, this one has it's a C railing, so very realistic. You can drill some holes if you wanted to. It's on the thicker side, but it's totally doable. The skill look of the shocks, that is definitely a 4 out of 5. Obviously, they went out of their ways to have the suspension and the dampers separately, just like a real rig would have. The chassis customizability, GCM Racing, again, 4 out of 5. You can't really beat that. Overall, the rating, this is the highest rated chassis of the chassis that I've reviewed so far. It's 4.17 out of 5. The one that came just before was 4.06. That was the Delta chassis. And the only reason why I'm rating this one slightly higher is because, well, the railing here is a C railing, so it's slightly more realistic, but also it's the application. It has a greater range in terms of application because it's a longer chassis with a wheelbase that is more standard and more adjustability with regards to the wheelbase. Therefore, in my humble opinion, it rates slightly higher. So there it was, the GCM Racing CMAX chassis, which you can adjust for a whole bunch of application. Fantastic rig, GCM Racing, a little Canadian company that offers very, very high quality stuff. Go check them out. They have a Facebook page, they have their own website, and Chris, the owner, is a fantastic guy to chat and discuss. And whenever COVID's away, I'll definitely take the drive again to see what he has in store. Thank you very much. Have a great day.